Hey everyone, it's Dee from CatalystEnergies. Thanks for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here. It's December 2nd, 2019, and this is your Daily Catalyst. Share the screen. Thanks for being here today. I've been off the grid since the new moon, and I had my solar return, and then Thanksgiving Day, and I'm working on some CEs for some reactivation of some licensing and credentials, so that's very exciting. And that was kind of a mad dash in a very short amount of time. So after that, I just kind of took some time off, and I hope you did too, because now that December is here, it is going to be crazy. Actually, I think it's going to be great, and there's some wonderful and supportive transits that are going to be happening in December that I'm going to talk in much more length about in a December report that I'm going to upload very soon. But for today, we are going to just talk about today at this moment. So we have the sun in Sagittarius, the archer that is always looking up, aiming up, optimistic, and moving into that second decan or second 10 degrees of the sign. So really getting into the meat of it. And this is great to keep tapping into because Sagittarius is always about looking up the bigger picture. And I am Sagittarius, so I actually have a stellium of Sagittarius, so I understand this energy very well. Sometimes it can be a little hard to bring it back down to earth and get into the details. And sometimes that's something you have to work on with a lot of Sagittarius energy. We're going to talk all about that because Jupiter is as you can see here, is moved into Capricorn as of today. That is the big star of the show for December 2nd. And like I said, I'm going to talk way more in depth about that in the monthly report. But for now, we're going to just highlight the fact that today is the day that Jupiter has moved from Sagittarius in his home sign, the place where he is the most expansive and powerful and in his full potential, and is now moving into the sign of Saturn in Capricorn, which is about form and structure, and thou shalt not pass the law of karma and the 3D matrix. So as you can probably guess, Jupiter is not happy in this zone, but I do believe that over the next year, which is how long Jupiter will be here, we are going to learn a lot about how to take everything we've learned from Jupiter being in Sagittarius and just sitting on this galactic center and then implementing that into some sort of form or structure, not only for ourselves, but for the world around us. But before we get to that, let's talk about the moon. She is currently in Aquarius. Now, as of this time of the report, she is also void of course, which means that she will not make any more major aspects until she changes signs tomorrow into Pisces. So a void of course moon is usually a really good time to kind of take a step back, go within, connect with some stillness, really get a sense of what's going on the inside. We're such a forward-moving culture. We're such a forward-thinking culture, especially in the Western world, that it's, I believe, very essential that we take this regular opportunity to look within, to be still, to really understand what's going on the inside. So the moon is void of course every couple of days, and sometimes it's void of course longer than other times, but it is very consistent. And so I think this is a really nice opportunity to also consistently take a chance to step back and go within. I personally do this daily, sometimes multiple times a day. My meditation practice and my energy work practice is very consistent, and I find that it really helps. So that's my little PSA about harnessing the void of course moon. She is in Aquarius right now. The water bearer of the zodiac, this is about fixed air, the higher mind. It is about the collective as opposed to the individual. And so Aquarius is bringing the water to the collective, but is not of the water, if that makes any sense. It's really about the higher mind and what is best for the collective. And so Aquarius is always thinking about not so much the bigger picture, but what can I do for the collective? What is best for the community? So there is a level of detachment here, especially with the moon here, that how we feel is about this higher mind and what's best for the collective and the community. But we also are not really attached to what's going on within us too. So there's this kind of interesting paradox, but again, it's always worth it to lean into these things and really understand how they manifest in your personal life. And that really comes about from knowing your natal chart and understanding where these aspects are happening in your chart. So you can always reach out and get a reading to understand how these daily transits, these weekly transits, these monthly transits, your natal chart, how it all impacts you personally, because the wheel of the zodiac is really the process of individuation and how the personality develops through time within yourself and how it develops in relation to the world around you. So, you know, astrology is a great tool for understanding the blueprint of the soul and becoming an active participant in the architecture of your story in your life. So these daily catalysts are meant to just read the energies and see what's going on in every day, because every single day is a new opportunity to create something. So we have the moon squaring, as you can see here, we've come off the square, but it had, before it went void, of course, the last aspect, it was squaring Mercury in Scorpio. So Scorpio, or Mercury, is still technically in shadow. It's going to come out of shadow in just a couple of days when it goes back to where it went retrograde in the end of October. And so we're still going over territory that has already been considered and investigated. But now that Mercury is going direct, we have a little bit more clarity. We've learned some things, and we may have an opportunity to really implement them as we move forward in Scorpio. But there is a square here, and so this collective higher mind, almost detached type of feeling is definitely creating some tension with what we're investigating, what we're learning, what we're digging out of the shadows, and about us. Scorpio is about us and our relationship with other people, and it's about the dynamic between those things. So it has to do with intimacy, trust, responsibility to other people. It's eighth house stuff, so it's about sex, it's about intimacy, it's about business, and it's about the power dynamic that is inherent in relationships among all things, not just people, but everything in nature. So we could have felt some tension between what we've been learning and this detached kind of Aquarius, like higher mind, Uranian, collective third eye kind of energy. So the other major transit of today is that Venus, now in Capricorn, really bringing our attention to what feels good in terms of our projects, our relationships, our resources in Capricorn, which is about the structure, the outside physical structure of reality. So it has to do with institutions, governments, anything. It's very paternal. And in the tarot, Capricorn is the devil, and not so much the devil in terms of what's evil, but the devil in that it is illusionary, that this is all there is that this structure of physical form is all there is. And that is, in fact, a trap. It is necessary to live within. We are here in 3D, right? We can't, there's no getting out of that in terms, as long as we're in physical form, we have to follow the laws of nature. And that is Saturn in Capricorn. It is the law of karma, the Lord of time. Thou shalt not pass, right? And so Venus is really trying to understand what feels good in terms of these structures. And she's going to conjunct and line up with the south node of the moon. So the south node is our collective point of mastery, the energy that we've already mastered in the past lifetimes, and ultimately what we're supposed to be letting go of in order to align with its polarity point, the north node of the moon, which is our destiny, the energy that we are meant to master in this lifetime. It's a driving force for us. And so with Venus conjuncting with the south node today, I think there's going to be an awareness of how we can create what kind of structures do feel good, not just for us, but for the community. What is it that we're creating for not for everybody? You know, what is the structure that is surrounding our life in a physical way? And I think it's going to be a good reminder, but ultimately with the conjunction, it's going to line up and the energy is going to climax and then it's going to dissipate. Now, what's going to stay behind and something that we can continue to reflect on is right here, this opposition to the North Node in Cancer. Cancer is a different type of structure. It is about the container that holds our emotional life, where we feel secure in ourselves, where our self-worth is rooted. And that is collectively where we're headed. It is a nurturing energy. It is about the mother archetype, but it's about the mother archetype and the feminine archetype within us. What is the container that our highest self-worth and is holding, basically? And so we're gonna have an opportunity to really to connect here with the structures that feel good for our relationships, our projects, our resources, and then let it go. Just like the South Node itself is what we're meant to let go of and move on from. Now we have Mars in Scorpio still getting a lot of power, some enterprising, initiatory, action-oriented energy of Mars in a place that is about power, and it's about power dynamics, and it's about investigating and getting to the root of things and understanding the power dynamic. And it's in trine, a very balanced energy with this North Node in Cancer. So I feel like that this is going to really give us some extra energy when it comes to aligning with the North Node in terms of cultivating our own root system, cultivating the container that holds our self-worth, because ultimately we can't even build anything that is stable or structured or secure without securing ourselves first internally, without being our own nurturers and our own mother. That comes first in the wheel. It is fourth house energy. That is Cancer. And so we have Mars here that's really giving us some drive to be balanced with this energy as well. And then, like I said, the big player today is Jupiter has come into Capricorn, and I'm going to talk way more about that in the December monthly. We're going to bring in some archetypes. We're going to tell a larger story about how the month is unfolding and give you an opportunity to look at how that's going to impact you and your life and what you came here to do. The thing about Jupiter is that it's just coming off the galactic center in Sagittarius. And so it's not just about like us in this moment, in this life, what we can get out of it. Of course, that is a lot to do with Venus, is about what feels good to us. It is about the physical world around us that we live in. But Jupiter has been about expansion into the galactic mission, what we came into this life right now to be part of and to add to the table, which is really nice with having a moon in Aquarius, because that's what Aquarius is here to do, is to bring water to the community. It's about the higher mind and the collective. Jupiter does not like to be in Capricorn, as I said, but I also said that I feel like this is an immense opportunity. So we're going to talk a lot more about that in the December report. I really invite you to check it out once I've uploaded it. I also am going to be offering kind of a flash sale on readings. You know, I want to be able to make these services accessible to people. So check out my Facebook page. I'm going to put more information there. There's already information about my services and the rates, and so you can reach out to me to get a reading with your astrology, and we use the tarot, and there's always the opportunity to add distance Reiki and energy work in there, because we hold a lot in our bodies, and getting your energy field to be moving and flowing freely and balanced really helps to give us our minds and our hearts in balance to really get the most out of this information. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next